Today, I'm going to show you how to make this extremely easy yet beautiful candle holder using scraps I just had in the shop. Now there's a couple little details on this candle holder that I think make it really stand out, such as the flush inlaid legs all the way around. And of course the wood combination, I might be a little biased, but one of my favorites is walnut and maple. I just love the contrast of these two woods. But I got thinking, I haven't seen a whole lot of different wood combinations in this area, so why don't you leave your favorite wood combination in the comments below, and I'll have a Google and see some cool ones I've never seen before. Now before we get to the build, make sure you take a second, hit that like button. Let's go. The first thing I'm going to do is take this scrap piece over to my benchtop joiner and get a real flat edge. Since this is only 1 inch thick, I'm going to be gluing two pieces together, so I want a real nice invisible glue line. This piece of walnut is about 6 inches wide by 8 inches long. And with one face perfectly flat, I just run it through my planer to square up the other side. When I was at the joiner earlier, I did do one edge as well, that way I can reference a straight edge against my fence. And since this piece is about 6 inches wide, I'm going to make two pieces at 2 3/4. That'll account for the little bit of waste from the kerf of the blade. Now here's a question to my fellow woodworkers. Before you do a glue up, how much time do you spend playing around with the grain pattern? On small pieces like this, I like to put as much of my own personal touches as possible, and manipulating the grain pattern is one of the ways I do that. I find moving the grain around, especially on a small piece like this, can drastically change the overall look. Once I find the look that I like, I just glue it and clamp it up. For the legs of this candle holder, I chose a maple. It's a real nice contrast to the walnut, and I want to inlay it around the ends. So I started ripping down these pieces that are about 1 inch by 1 inch. But I found they looked too blocky, so I ripped them down again, so I ended up with about 3/8 thick by 1 inch wide. I'm going to use a dado stack to make my notches around the edge of the candle holder for the maple inlays. First, I'm going to measure how wide my maple inlays are. In my case, they're 7/8 of an inch. To make setup a little simpler, I'm just going to use a 3/4 inch dado stack and make two passes. And I'll set the height of the blade to 3/8 of an inch to make sure everything lays nice and flush. Once I get one side cut out, I'm going to test my inlays and make sure everything sits flush. I'll make any adjustments here if I need to, but this actually turned out perfect. So I'll take it back to the table saw and finish cutting out both ends. I'm going to put two of these candle holders in here, and to make sure they line up nice and even, I'm just going to find center of the whole piece and then find center of those two halves and drill in from there. I'm using an 1 7/8" Forstner bit for this, and it's just a tad snug, so when I drill through this, I'm just going to wiggle my piece a little bit back and forth just to kind of ream it out a little bit. I'll leave a link to this Forstner bit and the candle holders in the description below. And on this first hole, I'm just going to sneak up on the depth that I need, then I'll set my depth stop for the second hole. Now I'm going to start cutting down my inlays, and to put the 45 degrees, I'm going to use my table saw and my miter gauge. I really need to upgrade this miter gauge. If you guys have any suggestions on a good brand, please leave them in the comments below. I need 5 pieces for each end of the candle holder. 2 pieces are going to be 3.5 inches long. These are the long stand-up pieces. And then 2 across at 2 5/8 of an inch. This will be to cover the what used to be 2 3/4 of an inch width of the candle holder that I since sanded down after the glue up. And the 5th piece is going to be a 2-inch piece with just butt ends. This is going to be the cross piece between the two longer legs. When I'm making repeat cuts like this on my table saw, I like to use my feather board to kind of make a little reference point just so I make sure every piece is identical. I'll make a cut about a quarter of the way through and then I'll butt my feather board up to the piece. That way the next piece I can just slide up to my feather board and I know it's going to be the same size. Before I start assembly, I'm going to give everything a sand and I'm going to treat it as a final sand. That way I just have to do some minor touch-ups wherever there might be a little glue squeeze out. This is just going to be a lot easier than trying to work in around all the legs. And speaking of easier, if you've watched any of my videos before, you know I'm a big fan of sanding pieces in large format as opposed to tiny little individual pieces. But again, if you've watched any of my videos before, you also know that I forget to do that quite often. To glue these up, I'm going to use the wood glue and CA glue combination that I use quite frequently on smaller projects. And all that is just putting a bead of wood glue down, but leaving a spot here or there for a drop of CA glue. Then I spray the accelerator on the opposite piece and hold it in place for about 10 seconds. The CA glue is going to hold everything nice and secure while the wood glue cures. Once I get the center cross piece or whatever you want to call it in, I work on the outside angled pieces. Since I used the CA glue, I can finish one end and immediately start working on the next without having to worry about any pieces getting knocked off or any clamps that might be in my way. I am going to leave the bottom pieces till the other pieces are all 100% dry though. That way if I do have to squeeze something together for a nice tight miter, then I don't have to worry about a piece popping off. Once both sides are done, I will use a couple clamps just to keep everything nice and tight while the glue fully dries. Now that all the other pieces are dry, I'm going to put the bottoms on. And my pieces fit good enough that I know I'm not going to have to use clamps. I dry fitted them and I was happy with the miter. So I'm just going to use a little bit of wood glue and some masking tape to hold everything nice and tight until that glue dries. And now I'm going to give it one final quick sand. Well, most of it's going to be quick, but you can see on the end there, I'm kind of a pig and I got glue everywhere, but I'll clean that up no problem. And right about here, I realized I used these candle holders before in similar holes, and I really liked the way they sat once I put a nice little round over on the top of them. I grabbed my router with a round over bit and just gave it a quick little touch around the edges. For the finish, I'm going to use a walrus oil. I love the way this stuff just darkens up all the grain. And where I chose to put the dark grain in the center when I was doing my grain orientation, it really makes that piece pop out too. I use walrus oil on a ton of projects. I'm not sponsored by them, I don't have any affiliation. It's just really nice stuff and it's easy to work with. I mean, look at it. And just like that, for an hour or two of work and some scraps you had laying around, you've now got a beautiful piece that you can showcase in your home. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you see what's coming up next. Till next time.